What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome to another video. Today's going to be the Sunday review. Sorry about the late upload. And yeah, I'm going to get straight into the charts. This week, I want to preface by saying I am expecting a lot of volatility due to the macroeconomic events that are happening. And so, in terms of my accuracy, I don't know how accurate this price action is going to be, but I am expecting a lot of volatility in general. But we're going to start with the weekly, and you can see this was the down close week we had. We came up, we took out stops resting above this swing high here. That's an absolutely disgusting color. But yeah, we can see we took out that buy side liquidity, and then we ended up closing down. Now, if you watched last week's Sunday's video, you'll know that I stated that the first 2 weeks of the month I want to see make the low. So I want to see two down weeks in the first 2 months of the month. Two down weeks in the first 2 weeks of the month of October. So this is supportive of that, and I'm also expecting a down week this week. So I would like to see a continuation to the downside. So now that this buy side has been tagged, I do have my eyes set now on this fair value gap resting here, and another fair value gap resting just below it here. If you have watched my video on last week Sunday as well, you'll know that I did state before that I like this wick here, and I want to see if price can draw down into that. So yes, we have this fair value gap, but I'm anticipating price to want to trade through it. So this fair value gap I want to see get traded through, and I want to see us run into this wick here within the new week. I'm also going to mark out consequent encroachment of this wick, as I expect that to be the highest price trades in the week this week. 761. So that's consequent encroachment. And then yeah, we can go down to the daily. So you can see one thing I want to draw attention to first is the rebalancing we have here. So this wick, you can see we traded into that wick. Let me change the color of these boxes. But you can see we traded into that wick here on Friday during non-farm payroll. So we took out buy stops, we traded into the fair value gap because there was a gap there, we filled it, and then we traded back into this wick. So I now see this range as balanced, which says to me that price can now continue to the downside. I do like the look of this swing low here as sell side liquidity for us to reach for. And like I said, this wick on the daily, this would be the next wick I'm going to be looking at consequent encroachment of. Now the reason I'm marking out two consequent encroachments, as these are levels where I'm expecting price to want to find resistance or wanting to turn around. So I'm going to keep them on my charts. Same dashed red line, and this is just the 50% off the daily wick. So we have the weekly wick here, which I'm going to make a little bit more bold, and then we have the daily wick here, which I'm going to keep on the 1 pixel setting, just so that when I'm in the hourly and 15-minute trading, I'll be aware that okay, this is the daily wick and this is the weekly wick 50% level, and this is the daily one. But you can see how the way we traded through and took out these stops here. You can see we disrespected this order block because this was a bullish order block. However, it failed to show support as it disrespected the 50% level. We traded right through it and actually outside of it, and to me that again hints to more bearish pricing and us wanting to see an expansion to the downside and hopefully grab these sell stops resting below here and then run into this order block. Now let's drop down to the 4-hour. Let's see if it's any different. Again, here's that rebalancing. Come up, touch the breaker, high, low, higher, high, and then we break lower. So this range here is a break in itself, and you can see our price quickly comes up and tags that very quickly. There is still a fair value gap left open here, but we can see that as a breakaway gap, which again hints to lower prices, as that would show, as this is something you'd want to see get left open. So when price breaks away like into a expansion, we anticipate some kind of breakaway gap to form. So that's fine for this to be left open and for us to still have a continuation to the downside. We have already opened. You can see we traded up. We've filled this range now. I'm not gonna say much on what I'm expecting on Monday, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start to trail up and run towards the 50% off that weekly wick, which is highlighted here in red, or the daily wick. So this range here now is what I'm expecting price to want to go for, and so that means the buy side liquidity I'd have my eyes on for Monday will be residing up there. Let's drop down to the 15-minute really quickly. It's very rare I look at 15-minute. You can see we gapped up And this is the kind of volatility I'm expecting for the rest of the week, this kind of price action. This is probably one of the biggest gaps I've seen in a while on Dixie. But again, with the macroeconomic events, I'm not really surprised. So yeah, I've got my eyes on this buy side liquidity. We have a beautiful fair value gap resting just below that daily 50% wick. So that might be a draw for it. I'm gonna mark that out in orange. Actually, no, yeah, we'll make it orange. There we go. I'm gonna bring this buy side liquidity to the front, and then yeah, I think again because of what's going on, I'm not really expecting to have a full idea of what's going to be happening until Monday. So we'll look at Monday's trading after tomorrow, and then I'll come back obviously with my daily reviews, and hopefully by then we'll have a much better outline for the week. But overall, I am expecting a down week, and I would like to see the high get made at the consequent encroachment of the weekly wick, or the consequent encroachment of the daily wick. Specifically, this nice fair value gap we have resting up there. But again, price could easily wick because of the relative equal highs we have here, and even above here. Price could expand much past that. So let's say price does take out this swing high. If price does trade above this swing high here, then in that case I'll probably start to be more bullish, and I'd start anticipating this swing high to get taken. But again, Monday will say a lot more, and we'll have a much clearer overview of what to anticipate for the rest of the week after Monday. So let's go to GBP. We'll start with the monthly, not monthly, sorry, weekly. You can see we had an up close week, and I'll show you what I have my eyes set on. So I do have my eyes set on, this is a breaker low on the monthly. I'll show you that now very quickly. So we have a high, low, higher high, and then we break lower. So this swing low is a monthly low, which I have my eyes set on as it's a monthly breaker low that I have my eyes set on, as when price trades into that or into this range, I'd then anticipate some kind of rejection to happen. Here we have a massive weekly fair value gap. I'd like to see price expand into that. The same way I'm expecting dollar to fall, this is the fair value gap that I'd want to see price expand into, with consideration of this wick here from that breaker low. So we're going to just draw that out now, and I'm just going to make it a little bit more lighter. There we go. So let's drop down to the daily. We can have a better look. So we have some buy stops resting below or above here. You can see that pound actually did manage to take out sell stops. So that sell side is being grabbed, which is why I'm expecting this buy side to be grabbed. And again, we have fair value gaps within inside the fair value gap that I'd want to see price reach for here, and especially this one up here if price wants to get overzealous. But in terms of downside objectives, we have these relative equal lows resting below here. And at this point, generally, I'm convinced the price can go, that the market can go in any direction, which is why I'm stating how it's important we wait for Monday's trading to be over, and then to be more careful because of FOMC minutes and other high impact news events that are going to be happening this week. But yeah, we have these beautiful relative equal lows resting below here with a fair value gap, sorry, and then we also have this swing high up here and this massive fair value gap and a potential reach into this 1 hour breakaway gap that we have resting up there. So there's a lot that price can trade to, there's a lot of objectives, but as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to see the sell side get taken to create the low of the week, and then I'd want to see an expansion to the upside, taking out these relatively equal highs, and then eventually into the 4 hour fair value gap that we have up here. And then maybe, if depending on how active price is, we have relatively equal highs resting above here as well that price may want to reach into. So that would be buy side. And then we have a fair value gap resting here as well. So like I said, there is lots of objectives that price may want to draw to, but depending on Monday's trading, I'm not sure that we can be too confident. Finally, we're going to look at euro. We'll start with the weekly again. We also had up close week on euro. So euro and pound both closed up, whilst dollar closed down, which is nice to see. And again, supportive of my overall monthly expectations. So we have this fair value gap on the weekly just above the swing high. That's I'd want to see price fill that. and then trade into this swing high above here. So I'll put buy side liquidity there, and then in terms of the weekly lows, I'm going to mark out the 50% level of this wick from last week. And that will be the lowest I'd anticipate price wanting to trade to. So let's go to the daily, and you'll see again, very similar to dollar. You can see how this wick balanced with this wick, so this range is now balanced, which again allows me to draw the 50% level off this daily candle, and then use the consequent encroachment of this as a guidance as to where I'd want to see price trade down to in terms of sell side. I'm going to make the weekly consequent encroachment 2 pixels, and then we'll drop down to the 4 hour, 1 hour even. So here's the price action. You can see price came down during non-farm payroll, back into the breaker, low, high, lower, low, break. So we came down, touched it, and the price rejected it and turned away. And now you can see we've opened lower, and now we're already moving towards these lower prices. Now, one thing to bear in mind is there are relative equal lows below here where non-farm payroll took out the lows. Like these create relative equal lows, so price may want to grab those stops before moving higher, but again, depending on volatility, price may only want to fill this fair value gap, for example. I need to change the color of these boxes. And then price may want to trade into this fair value gap and then turn around at that point and start running for the buy side liquidity that we have resting above these relative equal highs and potentially this fair value gap here. We also have relative equal highs up here as well. However, again, it's best we wait till Monday's trading before we have that kind of idea of what price is likely to do. So overall, to conclude, I want to see a bullish week. I'm expecting some kind of drawback or retracement at the beginning of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, to create the low, and then I want to see some kind of expansion to the upside on pound and euro later on in the week. We do have a lot of high impact news releases, and I believe there are going to be some some events which are not pre-planned, which again is going to create a lot of volatility. So it's best just to stay extra safe this week. We do have FOMC minutes on Wednesday, and then CPI on the Thursday. So there's a lot to look out for. But that's everything, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.